Hey, how you doing? Today I'm going to show you how I disconnect my snowblower from my Mahindra 2638. Now this snowblower is a Mahindra made by Bercomac or Berco out of Quebec, I believe, Canada. Now this snowblower is a 66-inch snowblower. Comes in two pieces. There's a subframe under here with a mid-mount PTO shaft that actually operates the snowblower. It's not hydraulic, it's actually a PTO shaft that runs the snowblower. Now, this snowblower unit is actually two pieces. You've got the blower unit in the front, and you've got the subframe underneath the tractor. The way this is designed is you can actually disconnect just the blower part by pulling a couple of pins and disconnecting your hoses. Now, I'm going to leave the subframe on because, well, winter's not over yet, and I could take it off in one whole piece, but that would mean I'd have to disconnect the shaft from the PTO and all the way back to where it hooks up on the back of the tractor where the hitch mounts. Instead of doing that, because it's not the end of the season yet, I'm going to leave that piece on, disconnect the blower, and that'll allow me to put my loader back on so that I can operate and use a bucket, forks, or whatever I need to attach to my quick attach loader on the front. That'll allow me to do some work around the yard. If it starts to snow and I see a storm coming in, I can take the loader back off and just put this blower back on. So I've already got the tractor warmed up. I just shut it off for a minute here so we could talk. And what I'll do now is I'm just going to show you real quick what I got to disconnect and how I'm going to do this. Then I'll get the camera set up and we'll get it done. So I'm going to show you right here real quick. This is the subframe. You can see this goes all the way back. You can almost see it to where the hitch hooks up. There's a pin back there. And usually if you're done for the season, what I would do is I would disconnect the PTO right here, this shaft, and I would disconnect it on the back, disconnect my hoses, and that would be pretty much all I'd have to do, drop the whole snowblower other than the pin in the front. But I'm going to leave this subframe on for now because winter's not over yet, as I just said, and in the event that I still need to use it again this season, which I expect I will, I'll have this part mounted, but I'll be able to, and leave that on, but I'll be able to disconnect just this blower part. There's a couple pins in here. You can see one's right here, and there's another one on this side. And once I pull those two pins out, you can see where this is notched out right here. And that'll allow me to drop this blower part and leave the subframe on, but it'll be out of my way so that I can still use and hook up my loader. So the first thing I've got to do is there's a wire here. This is actually a electric wire. I put this on. This is a motor for operating this part of the chute. This obviously goes up and down, allows me to angle it up and down. And this was not on when I got the snowblower. I put this on as an accessory, and this has an electrical wire that runs back and disconnects right here. And all you do is unplug it right here. Pretty simple. Take that wire, I'll just put it up out of the way. That disconnects that. Next I need to disconnect the hoses. Now these hoses, this one here is to rotate the shaft, and there's one down here, you can see right here, that goes to another piston down here that actually raises and lowers the whole unit. Those connect back here where your loader connectors are, and you would just disconnect those. However, obviously I don't have it on the ground yet. And the other issue I want to make sure is that when I'm done, I don't want this to be in the down position. I want this to be in the up position so that it's not down near the ground and in my way. This way here it'll be up and out of the way, and I can get the loader on and it won't interfere with the loader at all. All right, so the first thing we have to do is lower this leg so that when we put the blower down on the ground, it'll be resting on this leg right here. And to do that, all we need to do is remove this pin here, and we'll lower it down to the lowest pin here, and that should give it enough clearance to rest on the leg and the front of the blower. So the next thing we need to do is disconnect the hydraulic lines that rotate the chute and raise and lower the blower. All right, so the first thing we'll do is, once we've got this leg put down, we lowered the whole unit. So now it's resting on the leg and in the front here. Now what we'll do is we'll go to the back. In order to disconnect them here, you have to relieve the pressure in the lines. And I've got the tractor off, obviously. So this lever, your control lever, forward and back, puts the blower up and down, side to side, turns the chute from side to side, from right to left. And by moving it back and forth, all different directions, you relieve the pressure in the lines. That will allow you to disconnect the lines down here. First thing I want to do, I don't want to disconnect the one that raises and lowers the unit. I don't want to disconnect that one yet because I need to raise this back up again once I get this pulled out, the pins pulled out of here. What I'm going to do right now is disconnect the rotation of the chute, and I follow those hoses back here. That would be these two here, which is these two here, and now I should be able to just disconnect. There's one, and again, push down. And there's two. And I'll just snake these back around this frame piece here. Okay, got that hose off. Once I pull this pin, I should be able to raise it up just enough to back it up, raise it all the way up. And once it's in the up position, I can go ahead and disconnect the lines. I raised it just enough. Now it spins loosely. I'll go ahead and pull the pin on the inside. Now I can pull this pin right out of here. I'll set that aside for the moment. Now I can raise this part of the subframe, disconnect it from the blower, and I'll be able to back up just enough so that I can raise it all the way up and disconnect the hoses. I accidentally said raise it. What I meant was lower it. I lowered it. You can see it disconnected. That allows me to back up the tractor and separate from the blower. And then once it's separated, I'll be able to raise this back up, get it out of my way, and disconnect the hoses. I'll back up a little bit. Now when I pulled back, I ended up separating the shaft, which is made to come apart. It's splined. So when you back up, it just separates. You can also dismount it on the other end by pulling this coupler back, and that would disconnect it directly from the drive shaft itself. But it's just as easy to do it this way. The only thing you have to remember is that this needs to be lined up. When it goes back on, there's a little spot on the spline right here that needs to line up with the spline on this part of the blower. Not too complicated. I can show you how that goes back on once I get it moved back. For now, what I'm going to do is just raise this back up, and then we'll get these hoses disconnected. Now I did have to relieve the pressure on the lines, which did lower this back a little bit, but that's fine. It's going to be all right out of the way right there. Now I'll just run the lines out of the way. And once I have these lines disconnected, because the subframe is staying on the tractor right now, I just need to tuck them up out of the way so they're not in the way or dragging anywhere. So what I do is I just tuck them back up inside here. So you might be able to see in here, right at the top, there's a gap, and that is got to line up with this nub on the shaft right there. You can see it right here. And that times it so that it's always in the same location. And that's it. Basically, that can stay on there. And that disconnects your blower. Leaves your subframe on. Now I can mount the loader back on and use the loader until I need the snowblower again. And when I'm done for the season, I can take the subframe off, leave it on the blower, and store it for the summer. Hope this helps somebody. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much.